We're here today to talk to Kevin and Steve McHale about McHale Landscaping, the company that they founded many, many years ago, and their journey that they went on to find a financial partner in Hidden Harbor that allowed them to recapitalize the company. Recapitalizing is really the process of finding a financial partner to allow you to find the growth capital that you need to continue to grow your business in the future and provide a stronger foundation on which to take the company into the future. So recapitalizing is very distinct from a full sale of the company in that Kevin and his brother Steve continue to have ownership, material ownership in McHale Landscaping into the future. Why does that matter? Well, it allows them an economic opportunity to continue to grow the company that they love and the company that they founded. They also give certainty to their employees and their clients that they are invested and they will be here into the future. That is very different than selling your business, taking the money, going home, and leaving sort of the future to some other party. Well, recapitalizing has become very popular in the last decade because there is this sort of sector of investors out there, also known as private equity, that want to bring capital into a strong, high-quality company like McHale, allow the McHales to take some money off the table to sort of give them some stability in the future, but also, more importantly, give them the capital to continue to grow the business and, in fact, probably grow it at a faster rate than they have historically. I think that's a very important part about this recapitalization. It provided certainty to the next generation of McHales on where this business was headed. So they understood who their partner was in Hidden Harbor. They also understood that Steve and Kevin will be owners for the intermediate future, and that provides them much stability about where they see the company going. Kevin, thanks for being with us. You've been on quite a journey over the last couple of years, and we want to hear more about that. Ultimately, it ended with a partnership with the private equity firm Hidden Harbor, and that's very exciting, I know, for you and Steve. So do you mind if I ask you a few questions about that?
No, happy to have a discussion, Charlie. We've really enjoyed the journey and the ride so far, so we're happy to share our experience.
Kevin, what are you most proud of about McHale Landscaping?
Well, I think it's a long list of things. I mean, certainly it starts with our people. But I think most of all, we survived. I mean, it's, as you know, Charlie, it's not easy to found a business and then build it and grow it and scale it and then also determine the exit strategy. So I think we're most pleased that we've survived all of those early years when the only thing we had going for us was ambition, and ambition certainly brings risk. And we didn't understand the risk part until we went a little farther down the road. But, the ambition is what got us going, and we're still proud of the ambition that we have in the company.
How many years has it been?
Yeah, so this year, 2026, we celebrate our 45th anniversary. And, we can still remember a lot of the things that happened early on in our business like it was yesterday. But, yeah, this year is our 45th anniversary.
How did you and Steve reach the conclusion to become a platform firm for a private equity?
Well, it was quite a process. I'd say we've been talking about it for over the last 6 years. In 2020, we were approached by, just as most landscape companies in our industry were approached, by quite a few private equity firms. So it sparked our curiosity. We wanted to find out more about it. And we went down the path with several people that had contacted us. We learned a lot, but we also learned that there was a lot we didn't know. So we wanted to put together a plan that would educate us on this process. So we were fortunate enough to hire a family business consultant. And that alone was quite a process, over a year long. And after that process, the family business consultant gave us 2 recommendations, 2 pathways to follow. And ultimately, we chose the path of a PE partner.
What advice would you give other owners that are seeking liquidity?
Yeah, I think, prepare yourself as much as you can and research it, because it really comes down to picking the right partner. I mean, you can get inundated with offers and the numbers can be pretty big, but I think it's really important to do your research, prepare yourself and ask as many questions as you can from people who have been through this process before. We had a great advisor in Charlie and his team. We had a really good family business consultant, and we also had some accountants and some lawyers, and we put a really good team together, and they educated us, and they helped us and enabled us to make what we think is a really, really good decision about how we exit a company that we have built.
Great. With the benefit of hindsight, what would you do differently?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think, we near the end, we got it down to 2 or 3 companies, and we ultimately chose Hidden Harbor, and we're very confident in that decision that we made. But you're always going to think, what if I had gone with this other group, So it's not a regret, but it is more of a curiosity than anything else. And of course, we had some unrealistic expectations, It was never been about the money for us. But when you're going to go down this path, you certainly want to feel that you got what you deserved. So we had a number, and it would have been nice if we had got to that number, but we learned that maybe our number wasn't realistic, and we trusted the people that advised us on it. So I guess if there's any regrets, I would say, I wish I had found more add backs.
So true. What did you do during the build-up to making the decision to recapitalize that benefited you most?
Yeah, I think it really was finding a family business consultant that truly understood the dilemma that we had. We have a lot of family in the business, and we are a family business. Even though we are partnered with a PE firm, we are still a family business, and our culture is of a family business. But we have, 6 next generation McHales in the business. We have an executive leadership team that are all under 50 years old. So there's a lot there for the future for us. So those are all things that we considered in this process.
Great. Did the market value the factors that you measured and accounted for during the process when you ultimately got to the market?
Yeah, I think it did. Our company itself is a little bit of a unicorn because all we do is high-end residential landscape design, build, and maintenance. And we were able to scale this to a certain degree where there's not a lot of companies, in that category. So I think how we were measuring ourselves with the market, the reality of what it was when we actually closed the deal, right there, very much in the same ballpark. So we feel that the guidance from CCA brought us to have reasonable expectations, and we do think that we got the value that we were worth.
Great. How did you bring along your team, in particular your children, your nephews, to a very complicated and challenging decision to recapitalize?
That was one of the hardest things, is how do we bring the team in and how do we bring the family in? So we chose to do one-on-one discussions with our key employees, non-family members. My brother Steve and I met with them individually, and we explained to them what we were doing, why we did it, and how it would benefit them. And, it was really a good feeling that everybody felt good about it. We had employees that have been with us for 30 years congratulating us. So we never saw any bitterness. We never saw any feeling of you're letting us down. And everybody has been on board really since day one. We had a lot of angst about having those conversations, and we really didn't need to, because everybody understood our decision, and they felt that we had prepared for it, we've researched it, and we discussed it thoroughly enough that it was a good decision and that they trust us. And I think that's a big component of a family business. That's an advantage family businesses have, is we have a level of trust within the family and within our key employees that other businesses may not have.
Kevin, by virtue of recapitalizing, implies that you and Steve left equity in the company. So that also implies that you have great confidence in your team, in the future of the business, and your partner, Hidden Harbor. Just tell us more about that confidence.
Yeah, I think our goal, obviously, in partnering with with a private equity firm was to have an exit strategy for Steve and I. But more importantly, it was to set the table. We wanted to set the table for the future for the rest of the McHale family and for our key employees that have, long careers ahead of them. So it was really important to us to set the table and provide opportunities for people in the company to have very long and successful careers. And we're feel very comfortable that we were able to, that we did that.
Perfect. Thank you. How has life been post-closing?
It's been very busy. I think in one word, we'd say busy. We look back at all the things that we've done over the years. It's been a very retrospective year, the last year and a half or so. And, we've had a lot of failures. And, I think I heard Warren Buffett recently on an interview say we call them successful failures because you learn from them. And if you learn from a failure or a mistake, that's a success in itself. And so Steve and I would recount all these things that we've done. And, and it goes back to this whole idea of feeling grateful that we survived it. But what we did was understand the importance of the people that were with us along this journey. And we've never lost sight of that. And we continue for that to be one of the most important parts of this journey as we continue it for these next 4 to 5 years, depending on, how long we want to stay. But we're very excited about it. And we feel that everybody's in this thing together post-close, and that it's really been the right decision. And we're looking forward to creating value with our new partner and with the people that have been with us on this journey.
Kevin, you and Steve have created an incredible company at McHale, and that was validated by the feedback you received in the market. So on behalf of the CCA team, we want to thank you very much for you and Steve allowing us to be a part of the team that ultimately got you to this very important place. Thank you.
Yes, well, thank you, because, the guidance at CCA was, I can't see how we could have found a better partner with us to go through this journey. Your team of Tim and Andy and Aiden, everybody brought something to the table. And then your guidance of making sure that we stayed on point and that we understood the important things. That's what was really critical to us. It's really easy as business owners to bring emotion into the decision, and it's a part of it. And I think you and your team did a really good job of keeping us on track to focus on what was important, and then the things that were not so important, put them on the shelf until it was time to talk about them. So we feel that we wouldn't have gotten to where we are right now. We wouldn't have the success of this partnership without you and your team. So thank you.
Thank you very much.